Hey guys, my bike is kind of kaput right now. It's not in action, so I thought, well, I've got some time. I could make a video just briefly going through all the riding gear I use for my winter riding. I know for myself a year ago, it would have been really helpful for someone to have done a video like this to help me learn what works and what doesn't. So this is kind of the purpose of this video. Generally speaking, just to give you a temperature range, right? When I say like winter riding gear, what does winter mean? I'm usually riding between about negative 20 degrees Celsius, which is about negative 4 degrees Fahrenheit, and freezing, so about 0 degrees Celsius. That's the temperature range. That being said, the temperature varies greatly if you're climbing for 2 hours to if you're descending with amazing wind chill for 20 minutes. So it's the ability to modulate that temperature, moderate that temperature, which is important. All right, now I'm going to try and keep this really short and sweet. So I'll go through it quite quickly. If you are interested in more detail, then do let me know. I'm a details person, so I can talk forever. I've thought about this stuff a lot. I mean, I've lived it every day. So if you are interested in more detail, let me know, and I could do a much longer video going through each item piece by piece. Anyway, so that's the idea. All right, so winter gear. I'll go as quickly as I can, and then maybe later do a much longer video if you're interested. All right, first piece is just a base layer, just an Under Armour standard running shirt, just polyester, really good because it breathes well. If it's quite cold and I'm not doing any climbing, then I'll throw on an icebreaker merino wool base layer. This is really warm. It's like their 200 category or classification. I won't use that a whole lot just because with all the climbing, sweating becomes a really big problem with that shirt. All right, as a base layer on the bottoms, I've just got, these are like standard running standard cycling shorts, like ASOS, nothing in particular. And then for my arms and my legs, then I've got some Pearl Izumi leg warmers and arm warmers. And these are really good because you can moderate your temperature with the arm warmers and the leg warmers by pushing them down and then pushing them up again, which is something I often do. So I'm climbing, pushing them down, and then as soon as I'm not, I'm pushing them up again, which saves you having to like stop and take a layer off. It can be quite time consuming. So they're really helpful. Then as a soft shell, you could say, on my bottoms, I've got, this is a Arc'teryx. I think these are actually climbing pants. They're just really good. They're made of nylon and polyester, so they stretch really well, they breathe really well, and they got heaps of pockets. So it means you don't lose gloves or iPods or anything like that. All right then, as a base layer on my legs, if it's really cold, I've got some icebreaker merino wool, some of their warmer thermals, but they're incredibly warm, so I haven't used them much at all riding wise, just because with all the climbing, you just get too hot. And then as a mid layer, on the top, I've just got an icebreaker merino wool. This is one of their warmer ones. Things like the 260 version with the hoodie. The hoodie's really useful, and that thing is fantastic. Breathes super well, and also as well too, it's not too bulky and keeps you nice and warm. It's like perfect. It's the best mid layer I've ever used so far. All right, and then if we talk about waterproofness, then we can talk about what I've got on my legs, which is just some Haglofs. These are like hiking pants, I think. They're just really nice because they've got the zipper down the side of the leg. Because of course when things are waterproof, they don't breathe really well. So having the zipper really helps. And then on top, I've got, on my top I should say, right? I've got an Arc'teryx, just Gore-Tex jacket. To be honest, the jacket is probably a bit too hardcore. You don't need some hardcore jacket like that, just because it doesn't pack down very well. Breathability obviously is a problem, right, with waterproof layers. That thing does quite a good job with the pit zippers. That being said though, I probably wouldn't need something quite as hardcore as that, and could go with something that's like lighter and compresses down smaller. That being said, I love that jacket. I use it every day, so you know, who am I to talk, right? I keep knocking it, but I still use it. Anyway, all right, so then next we have my really thick down jacket. This is one of the bigger Mammoth, I wouldn't call it an expedition jacket, but it's heading in that direction. Super warm and really useful. I mean, one for camping generally, but then two on the really cold descents. I just throw that over the top, and it really just blocks the wind and keeps me nice and warm. Let me push this thing back up. Better. All right. Next, let's scoot along. Time is short, right? Just as a helmet, nothing special, just a standard like Bell mountain biking helmet. All right, now ventilation's important, so I've got a few different options here. This is for the head, right? So I've got a neck gaiter merino wool, but it's really thick, when you're climbing. I don't use it a whole lot just because it's too warm. Same goes for the Icebreaker merino wool balaclava. It's amazingly warm and does a good job of breaking the wind, but it's just too warm for all the climbing. So the best balance I've found is using an Icebreaker merino wool headband that just covers your ears and your forehead, because they get really cold with the wind chill. And then for the face, I have this Gore, it's like a wind stopper, I think it's called. It just covers your face. Yeah, it covers your face. So and a little bit of ears as well too. So it stops the wind chill, which is really important. All right, that's for the head. Next, we'll talk about the feet. So as a base layer, you could say I've just got some pretty standard Nike running socks, nothing in particular. They're quite thick, to be honest, for what I'm hoping for, but it's what I've got, so I'm sticking with it. And that's because I use vapor barrier liners. This just stops, so you could say, the transmission of sweat from your base mid-sock to your insulating sock. Vapor barrier liners are amazing because it means your boots won't freeze, right, from all the sweat, and your insulating socks won't get cold. So they're really good stuff. And then on top of my vapor barrier liners, then I'm using some Icebreaker merino wool, just one of their thicker warm socks. And then if it's really cold, the socks I'm wearing right now is an even bigger Icebreaker merino wool sock, so I can put the 4 layers of socks over the top of each other. And then that then goes into my Kamek. These are just like kind of standard winter hiking boots, nothing specific. One thing I would say is buy them like a size or 2 bigger, just so you can fit all those layers of socks and not squeeze your feet, because that'll make them cold, right? And then on top of the boot, I've just got this waterproof, it's like a Gore-Tex Gore bike layer. So it just means that your boots aren't getting wet from like any slush or anything like that. And then secondly, from outside obviously, and then on the inside, they're not getting wet from any sweat. So hopefully they'll stay dry. All right, and then last but not least, I think on the hands, as a base layer, you could say I'm just using Icebreaker merino wool. This is like their liner glove. It's super thin, and the reason I have that is because it gives you lots of dexterity for holding the handlebars and doing all kinds of things, but they're quite fragile gloves. So on top of that, I'm just using my standard summer gloves, actually. Figured why not use them for like all seasons, right? Standard summer gloves. And then that hand, so Icebreaker liner glove, summer glove, then goes into my bar mitts on my bike, right? And that combination there satisfies like 90% of the riding I'm doing, like by far the majority, breaks the wind. That being said, if I say in the morning is a good example, when it's really cold, I might throw on these Gore bike wear gloves just for an extra bit of warmth. And then I'm pretty toasty, and then I'll take them off and then just stick with the liner gloves. Anyway, all right, so that pretty much concludes the super quick, I consider this a super quick short version. I'm sure some people are like, it's so long. But I could talk about these things for 2 or 3 times longer, each little piece. So hopefully you found that useful. If you're interested in more detail, just like leave a comment. People say that, right? Leave a comment, and I can upload a much longer video. I mean, it could be 20 or 30 minutes, honestly, me just going piece by piece, every single item, talking about what I like and don't like, and things that hopefully you'll find useful. Anyway, that pretty much concludes the short video. So hopefully you find it useful, and just let me know what you think.